And my Golf Week colleague Beth Ann Nichols joins us now. Beth Ann, we've just heard Nelly Korda talk about last year being a difficult year with injuries, a very kind of stop-start season for her. She skipped the entire Asian swing on the LPGA Tour earlier this year. Before she began this winning streak, she'd been off for 7 weeks. How much is freshness a factor right now, you think?
I think it's massive, but not just physically, mentally, I think maybe is even more important because for the first time that she can remember in a long time, this wasn't a forced break. She wasn't sitting on the sidelines because of an injury where, mentally that can do a whole lot of things to you, but that she chose to do this. And so you approach it in a totally different way. So I think spending that time in Prague with her grandparents and just putting the clubs away for a while gave her a nice reset, and obviously coming off of a win, you have nothing but good memories going into your next event.
Beth Ann, we've seen her have some monster seasons before on the LPGA Tour. Could this shape up to be arguably the best season of her career?
Well, goodness, she still has a lot to go in terms of winning a major and a gold medal to get back to what we saw in 2021. But she looks amazing. I mean, I don't see any weakness in her game right now. In fact, when we just look at, I think, the maturity that we're seeing now from just 3 years ago. I remember early on in that season when she won it, like, no, she's like, gosh, this is so tiring. I don't know how people win 2 and 3 tournaments in a row, and now it looks like she's done it a million times and we don't hear her saying anything like that. So, she definitely has, just grown and matured as a person and a player. And I loved what she had to say yesterday about working with Jason, her caddy, down the stretch. That they don't take on unnecessary risk anymore as much as they used to, which we saw down the stretch when she pulled that 7-wood on the drivable par 4 16 and secured a fairly easy looking birdie.
On the 18th green, she told Kay Cockrell that she hasn't really thought at all about the other historical winning streaks of players like Joanne Carner, Nancy Lopez, or anyone else. Do you believe her?
I do believe her on that front because I think she probably was completely unaware of those streaks. I'm just guessing there, but but just judging by players in general and how much history they know, that probably all came as a surprise to her. But when she says that she doesn't think about the Hall of Fame, then I'm like, well, I don't know about that. I'm guessing that probably does come into her mind from time to time, especially with all this talk about Lydia Ko in the Hall of Fame. How can it not?
Yeah, good look at the last 4 instances that we saw players win 3 consecutive starts on the LPGA. Last American was back in the 80s, so it had been a minute since we had seen that. Beth Ann, we were having the debate last week on the PGA Tour. Does the men's side need a dominant player? Well, we're seeing a dominant stretch right now from Nelly Korda. Does the LPGA Tour need a clearly dominant player for the women's game?
1,000% and 1,000,000%. However big of a number I can come up with, the LPGA needs that, and they don't just need a dominant player; they need a dominant player who transcends and people want to talk about. And that's Nelly Korda. When you look at her entire family and how incredibly talented they are, she's the perfect candidate to have people talking about her in a way that we see Caitlin Clark. So we can only hope that we'll see a monster season from Nelly, and not only will she be in the winner's circle a lot, but that she'll say yes to a lot of opportunities after she does get in that winner's circle. When she does win a major championship, that she'll go on a media tour, do the same after she wins an Olympic gold medal again. I'd really love to see her embrace that.
Do you think she wants that part of it, Beth Ann? I mean, it's tough to live with the scrutiny, and she's clearly the dominant player and the face of the women's game in the performance sense. The marketing sense is very different. Do you get a sense of a little standoffishness in Nelly's part in not wanting to be scrutinized or kind of taken over as public property in that way?
Certainly. I think she is a reluctant star, is how I would describe her. She's not a person who really wants the spotlight, and the very fact that she skipped her press conference at the British Open after she won the gold medal, that was her next start, just shows you how much this just isn't her thing. She'll do it, but it's not like she can't wait to get in there and talk to the media, and once she gets going, she's great. But it's not like a Nancy Lopez where you really felt like Nancy felt like that was her obligation and her duty to do for the tour. I feel like Nelly's going to have to grow into feeling that way.
You say the women's game needs a dominant player in Nelly Korda. In sport, usually you want to see a rivalry emerge. So of the challengers, who's best equipped to go on a run and maybe even push Nelly to potentially even higher heights?
Well, we thought that was going to be Jin Young Ko, but once again, Jin Young Ko has had so many injuries that have taken her out of the mix that we haven't been able to see that from her. I don't really think it's going out on a limb to say Lydia Ko might be that player this year, because she's just so highly motivated to get that next point. And I don't know how much we're going to see Lydia play beyond when she qualifies for the Hall of Fame. I certainly think if she gets that this season that she'll finish the year. But I would love to see what we saw in Bradenton earlier in the year of Nelly and Lydia going back and forth throughout the rest of 2024. At least if we could have that, that'd be a great taste.
This is one of the longest conversations we've had in the last few years without really mentioning in detail Jin Young Ko. She was the Nelly Korda rival a couple of years ago. We thought it was going to be that rivalry. When are we going to see her next? We haven't seen a great deal of positive stuff over the last year and a half.
Well, I think she's struggling with injuries even still. So I expect to see her at the Chevron. Hopefully she'll be back to 100%. But it's the same thing that we're seeing now with Lilia Vu. Unfortunately, we've seen so many players have such great runs, and then it's like they hit a giant speed bump with their bodies, and that's what's happening with Lilia Vu right now too, with all these back spasms that depending on the weather, the day, she just doesn't know when it's going to come and go. So she has a whole team of folks around her trying to keep her healthy. So hopefully she'll feel that way too going into Chevron.
Up this week, we have an event I look forward to as a nice change of pace, the T-Mobile Match Play at Shadow Creek. Is there a certain style of play that's favored this week? Whose game do you like?
Nelly?
Okay,
I mean,
figured.
Right? I mean, Nelly's game suits any course. But this typically has been, such a marathon week, and obviously the format changing now with stroke play, then narrowing it down to just a handful of players, 8 players going into match play. So that's new, and I like that. I think it'll be a lot easier for fans to follow, and I think it's a great kind of warm up going into a Solheim Cup year again. It's interesting. I mean, I just think it used to be, a lot more about stamina, and Nelly's probably going to be a little tired after this run, but wouldn't it be fun to see her at least get into match play and make a run at it?
Let's go to the unpaid ranks for a moment, Beth Ann. You're going to be part of our live from the Augusta National Women's Amateur coverage this week. What are the storylines, or is there one in particular that you're really looking forward to seeing play out this week?
Well, I think it's a wide open week. I think last year everything was about Rose Zhang, and understandably so. She was the one everybody had their eyes on. And now it definitely feels like a whole host of players could win this thing, that if you can just get past Champions Retreat, you have a chance. And a lot of players will say that Champions Retreat actually feels like the tougher test by the time they get to Augusta National, which is hard for everyone to wrap their heads around. But a lot of players say that. So, I think that, we have a lot. Obviously, Ingrid Lindblad is the biggest name, a 14-time winner now at LSU in her 5th season. No question about it. She stayed amateur to play this one more time and try to win it. She has the perfect ball flight, the perfect game to suit Augusta National. But there are a lot of players, including juniors, that I think could make a run at this, much like Anna Davis did. Yana Wilson certainly comes to mind. This is a player who won on the Cactus Tour earlier this year. She was the AJGA Player of the Year last year. She was contending in an Epson Tour event, and then she got injured, and her caddy passed away. So she actually was playing great earlier this year on that tour. So I really feel like that was a tragic week, and she was playing exceptional despite some really trying circumstances. So, I think Yana is definitely a player to watch. There's 7 players from the top 10 last year are back. So now that this is the 5th edition of the Augusta National Women's Amateur, there's a lot of experience out there.
Yeah, there certainly is. She is Golf Week's Beth Ann Nichols. Beth Ann, appreciate it.
Thank you.